Hey, hey! Happy Sunday night. Who's here? I'm seeing Marilyn. How's everyone doing? Um, I've been a little bit quiet over the last almost 10 days now. My sister was in town with my niece. It was the holidays. Hello, Johan. And I started filming on and off for the two first videos of the pantry challenge, and I stopped doing pop-up lives and channel updates. So I'm going to wait that there's going to be a little bit more viewers popping in. So I'm going to say only once during this live for the channel update. What happened, what did not happen. Who else is here? I'm seeing a third person. So hi to that person. So, what did you guys do for New Year's? Happy New Year's. For us, it was very, very quiet. We went at my parents' on the first. My sister had just recently arrived with her daughter. We had fun, ate traditional meals. We laughed, played games. The kids went to bed very, very late. And for the first time in a very, very long time, they woke up at 10:05 in the morning, going to bed at 12. So that was a humongous surprise. Usually when we bring them to my in-laws or to my family, or we go out and like we do like festivities, and I bring them to bed late, they wake up earlier in the morning. But now all of them slept in. It was amazing. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's 10 o'clock. We slept, yay!" So after the New Year's, my sister stayed in town. She came over at my house. If you didn't catch it, I started doing my pasta dough with sourdough discard, and we had fun doing fettuccinis and raviolis. And my sister helped me out doing that, and we feasted on an epic dinner, and we pretty much did just like family together, play cards, laugh, sleep, do nothing. No chores, basically. Almost no chores, and we just enjoy. Yesterday night was the last of the festivities for me. My husband had a Christmas party, and I stayed up very, 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 very late. Like it was past 2 o'clock in the morning, and I ate so much food. They had like special antipastos for us. Like they had like this wonderful plate, and they had like 5, 6 mini things, antipasties, and then we had bread with olive oil, and then what else we have? They brought. Oh yeah, I had linguine with shrimps and other. There was shrimps, lobster, and other stuff. And my husband had filet mignon. It was really good. And we stayed up very, very late, drank a little bit of wine, a little bit of beer. We went to an Irish pub, went back to the hotel. So we were kidless for like almost 18 hours. So this morning, we kind of feel like the train passed on us. Just a little bit. And I lost my voice. So I'm sorry about that. Went to your parents. Christmas take two. Yeah, because we had like a lovely storm coming in that kind of messed everything up. Hello, Remy. Yes, don't forget the thumbs up. That helps me out. And I keep saying it, and I'm going to say it again and again and again and again. So without further ado, I'm going to give you the channel update, because I did promise you that if I did qualify, I was going to do the whipping cream pie in my face. Sorry. Now let's see. So sub-wise, it's going up. So it's 1,050. I still can't wrap my head around that number. And sadly, it did not happen before January 1st. But it is close. It is close. So what's happening? So right now I'm at 3, 6, 7, 9. So 321 hours. So what's happening right now is I'm like in my rolling 365 days. And there's days that that number goes up, and there's days that number goes down. So I have no idea at this point when the fourth qualification will happen. It's going to be probably a matter of time, maybe a matter of weeks. I'm hoping at least by the end of the January. That would be nice. But it's not happening, well, unless miracles happens every day, unless it happens tonight. We still have to be patient. So Remy, what did you do for your New Year's? When you pop in, don't forget to say hi to me in the comments. Also, I don't plan on staying my regular 1.5 hours tonight. My kids are going back to school tomorrow. They stopped on December 23rd, and they're going back tomorrow. And my husband is also going back to work after being 3 weeks home. He's probably going to be like missing home. Ooh, nice. So I think it's definitely going to be different tomorrow. Like the house will be empty. And since the renovations are not completed, I have to reorganize everything, reorganize my pantry, reorganize everything, do a pantry tour. Hello, Vanessa. So that I can officially start brainstorming how I'm going to present the pantry challenge to you guys. I know there's certain days that I won't be able to film, because like filming every single day, my 3 meals, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that, but I do want to like include like a stretch of 3 days and to show you what we're using up. Like for example, tonight, I used up 8 jars that was in my pantry to create the meal that we ate tonight. I filmed it. Like the kids are like, since they went to bed a little later than usual, they're kind of overkill tired. So it was pretty chaotic in the background. So it's going to be a cover-up video, but I'm going to show you exactly what I created with those 8 jars. And it was delicious. I was at my uncle's house that lives on the other side of the cove. Ooh, nice. Hope you had a wonderful time. Also, for me, now that we're back to like the normal routine, so that means I have to meal plan, meal prep, and I have to get back into the groove of filming more and more. I have like a couple of videos that I was planning on filming early January and publish it, like the DIY series that I'm doing to replace home staples. So that's in the works. I have 2 videos for that. And then I have to start my online training with l'Académie Patagère. I have like 12 modules I want to learn. And then somewhere in there, I have to do my garden layout. Like I'm like everyone that knows me, like usually my garden layout, my plans and all of that is done like in December. I'm still not done yet. Like so I'm not ready for the new season. Like I have like a good idea of what I want, but I don't know where to place it. My garden like design is not done. I don't know if I'm expanding. I don't know if I'm like cutting down. I have no idea. So it's going to be an interesting first week. I know that I have to do my plan of my garden and which seed is going to be planted either this week or the week after. Because like seeds are starting to get, like everyone's starting to buy seeds, so back orders could be a possibility. Well, technically, I'm not supposed to order seed because technically I'm done ordering seeds. That's what I said in my previous videos. And at this point, Marilyn, wink wink, I have not ordered seeds. So I have no idea when that video was published. But since that day, I've been a very, very good girl and I did not purchase any more seeds. But I like when you sit down and you start doing your planning, sometimes you see that you forgot to order seeds, and I might order seed. And also, I received my Johnny Seeds catalog, my West Coast seed catalog, my TNT seeds, Vizzy seeds. And I think I have like another one. Rain? No. Like I received like 4 or 5 magazines of seeds, and I didn't open it yet. Like I've been good. I've been trying to follow my rule of not buying more seeds. But I know as soon as I start sitting down planning and seeing down south people starting to sow seeds very soon, I'm sure that I'm going to be tempted by certain varieties. My season will start very soon. Onions is usually the first things that I sow. Onions, celeries. But since my plan is not done, like I don't know when my last frost date is, if it changed. Usually it's always like the second or third week of May. And like I have this printout calendar of like this date, between this date and this date, I can plant like this plant. I have nothing done. So it feels really, really, really weird to not be prepared for 2023 season. Ooh, did you find anything cool? Well, Remy, the year's only 8 days in. There's still 350 something days that you can order seeds. Hello, Littlefoot Ranch. That's a cute one. So that's another thing I have to work on. I'm not like, would you be interested to have like a full detail of how I'm designing and coming up with my garden plan? Like I don't think I film these things because it's like very, like I just draw my garden beds and then I decide what goes where, how much of each I can plant, and all that. Like all that calculation, like I call it tomato math, pepper math, and like I have 15 feet. I'm planning to have 2 rows, how much of this seed I can plant, and then I take out my seeds and I decide which variety I'm going to plant. Is this something that you would like me to share? Cucamelon. I love cucamelon. They never reach my house. Never, ever, ever. Like I start harvesting them and they're snacks. So I hope you have good luck. I know that I had better success at starting them inside versus direct sowing. Direct sowing, I was always losing it to pests. and they were so little and so fragile that starting them inside was a better solution. And once they like really started kicking off, that's when I transplanted my cucamelons. Hello, Marcus Mustard. Hello, it's a short growing season in Minnesota too. Well, it is a short season that we have here compared to down south, that's for sure. I am zone 5. So I can't complain that much. Like usually my last frost is May 12th. I don't know if it changed, but that's what it has been for a while. And my first frost is usually by mid-September, but it never really happens before end of November. So we're blessed with a couple of weeks, and then once we reach freezing temperatures in November, we're able to extend our garden season with some like slight modifications. So technically by the first week of December, second week of December, if we're well equipped, we can push I can push my growing zone further. Starting early helps. Yes. Usually I am so excited. I don't think I can say this enough. I was so excited. In my garden season was not even finished. I was already designing next year's garden. This year, I decided to stop, take my brain, put it on pause, and simply be, relax, refresh, recharge, and not think of the logistics of the homestead. Well, the gardening aspect of the homestead. And I find that I am going into my 2023 gardening season with much more, like I'm more excited. I've learned better. I'm not like, oh my God, I have to do this. Oh my God, I have to do that. So I feel I'm more prepared and rested much more than the years prior. Garden plan. What is that? Well, you see, I have a plan. Every single garden bed, I know what I'm going to plant. But then I kind of create problems and say, "Oh, I'm gonna fit 2 here instead of 1," and then like they're all crammed up, not the same place. And I kind of play Tetris with the spots I have left, and I have stuff all over the place. It's my version of adult Tetris, but in the garden. So I do have a plan. In last year, I was very good. I did follow my plan, but since I'm doing the Académie Potagères course, I'm gonna really use their guidelines to maximize my overall produce. I am probably gonna stay away from the square foot method. I used to use these. Let's just say it says 6 to 12 inch of space. I always went with the smaller amount, and I went with 6. But I could not weed with tools. But if it says 6 to 12 inch and I do it 10 inch, and my tools are 4 inches wide or 10 inches wide, instead of weeding on my knees all day, I'll be able to stand up and weed my garden. So with one plant, I probably will have as much as the all condensed together plant. Well, that's the plan, at least. That's my hope. Yeah, peas, cucamelons, little lunchbox peppers, those peas, snap peas. Those are my favorite to snack on in the garden. There's one thing I would love to do with cucamelons. I would like to pickle them. So at least 1 jar, so I can see. But I never get enough to make a jar. I love cucamelons. They're garden snacks. Ooh, nice. You can't complain, Annie. You have no rights. No, I have no rights to complain. I can't complain. I'm in zone 5. Well, there is pests that I can complain about, but that's another story. It is a full growing season, not a double growing season. One try each. Yeah, true. There's things I can grow twice like cold hardy crops. So if I fail in the spring, I can catch up during the fall. But if I fail with my tomatoes, my turnaround is next year. I cannot grow twice tomatoes in a year. Yay! Welcome to the soil blocker. This year I am going to be using my soil blockers. I'm going to try like to pick and choose which types of seedlings I prefer or they prefer to be in little seed blocks or cells, plug trays. I know for onions, I'm probably going to go I think this is Joam that made the suggestion, and I loved it. He told me he was using, I think it was 140 cell tray or 200 cell tray. I can't remember. Maybe Joam, you'll be able to clarify. And you put 1 or 2 seeds per hole. And when you come to transplant, you have 1 seedling. Before, I used to do either in my 2-inch soil blockers or my 72 plug tray. I would sow 3-4 seedlings, like seeds, and I would keep 3 seedlings per little cell, and then I would transplant them every 6 inches. But from what I'm reading in the training that I'm doing right now, this is a little bit too tight, and for weeding, it would be preferable around 10 inches apart. So I still need to do a little bit of research on that. But for my onions, I'm probably going to be using cell trays. I could change my mind, but that's one of the decisions that I have made. Rhubarb. Is rhubarb the first thing I harvest? I don't think so. I think it's dandelions that I harvest first. I'm not sure. I have a doubt right now. It's either that. I can't remember. Ooh, some seeds. Ooh, you got some seeds. Hello, Butler Family Farm. We are doing great. How about you? Well, I say we're doing great. I'm doing great. My family is also doing great. The snacking peppers too. I like during spring, summer. We just have breakfast and yeah. If I could, I would bring salt in the garden and have like tomatoes with salt in the garden. Like, you know, those like miniature salt things. I would put that in like my thigh bag that I carry around my tools. And as soon as the tomatoes would be ready, I would be able to eat like tomatoes with salt. I cannot describe this feeling of going outside and I do this on when it's peak of the season, I'm preparing dinner. And I'm like, okay, so before I'm prepping, I don't know, I'm going to like sauteed vegetables with whatever else. So I go outside and I leave and I know that I'm going to be leaving for like 5-10 minutes. So I go outside and like I pick up broccoli, cauliflower, spices, herbs, and blah, blah, blah. And then like, ooh, pepper's ready. Ooh, snow peas are ready. So when I'm like sitting down to eat, like I'm already half full because like I snacked on my way back home. Okay, so it's the 200 cell tray. I have to write this down. I can't find 200 plug trays anywhere for now. Sorry. I might cough a lot. I lost my voice. Okay, I'm gonna create a new note. So onions, and it's 200 plug tray. Okay, that's written down. Thanks, Joam. No worries. Hello, Tammy. Chives is your first harvest. Like I'm trying to remember this year what I harvested first. chive would make a lot of sense because my oregano comes back every year. My chives come back every year. Uh, it's like rhubarb. I do have some spring strawberries, so I'm not sure. For you, it's fiddlehead, then dandelions, then rhubarb. So I might not be wrong because I remember that this year we were told it would be preferable not to harvest any dandelions before June 1st. And I was harvesting a small amount by the end of May. So it's probably either that or rhubarb. This year, you'll have to walk in the garden with your scale to weigh your food. Well, so there's one thing. So I might have to weigh myself before I go harvesting in the garden, and then weigh myself after, and then weight whatever is left in my hands. Wink, wink. Rhubarb is on off early ones. Yeah, well, I remember the rhubarb that I have is pretty finicky. It starts like it gets off the ground, and then not even 2 weeks after it picks up, it goes to seeds. Regardless of like everything I try, I remove those heads every time I see them. And like my window of harvesting, well, the variety that I have, is not very long. I did purchase an end of season sale, the red version of rhubarb, and I planted it in a pot. Now it's in my greenhouse. I do hope that I'll be able to winterize it. I had 2 or 3 plants in that bucket, and I was told that it was a bit more resistant in that to put it in a shadier area than where I was locating it. So I'm hoping next year I can figure out where to put my rhubarb because I have 1 week window, 10 days max to harvest it. Like I harvest maybe 1/3 of the plant. I have 2 plants, and as soon as like June arrives, it's gone. The heats are there and it goes to seed. I That's what I don't remember, but it would make sense. So I'm gonna have to remember this year to note what comes out first, because like I'm so focused on sowing seeds in the spring that I keep forgetting that there are some perennials that's outside that I could be harvesting. That's something I have to work on this year. Sorry, you need to drink water. Um, down the line. Okay, so I did 3 recipes with dandelion. One was a salve, and another one was a syrup. What was the third one I did? And I did a jam or a jelly. I think I was only using the actual yellow part of the dandelion. The leaves, Remy, correct me if I'm wrong, the leaves of the dandelion can be used in salads. And the root of the dandelion can be used for teas. It's the last year that I used dandelion, so I'm a bit rusted. Morel, mushroom leeks, and violets. It's true, violets this year was also one of the first things I harvested that I remember. Nice. Okay. Morel mushrooms. I would really hope to meet someone in the next couple of weeks that's going to bring me out near my house, or like maybe half an hour to an hour near my house, to show me where the morel mushrooms are, or any type of mushrooms. It would be nice to learn how to forage and identify certain mushrooms. Hello, Dave. You're making chili with stuff from the garden, but the beans need to cook more. I love chili. Bon appetit, Marilyn. I fried dandelion with an egg. Oh, right. I didn't know that. Leaves of the dandelion is like spinach. Okay. So I was right. And the root can be roasted for tea. Okay. So I was not wrong. I just forgot that it needed to be roasted. Morels are very, very rare and hard to find. Really? You're just busting my bubble. That would have been fun. I was talking to my husband, since we like mushrooms so much. If I could have a small, those little white mushrooms and coffee tinted mushrooms that we buy at the store. I wanted to ask my husband if we could have a farm inside the house. If not, I would like to look at the possibility of building like a very small raised bed to have either or one type of mushroom growing back year after year after year. The course, it's a French course because I was not able to find one in English. It's from l'Académie Potagère. So, academy, and what would be potagère translated in English? Potagère. Translation. Well, potager. So there's not really a translation word for word. So technically, it's a course online, market garden style for a family household. That's the resume of the course. So it starts the basics, the tools, the different mediums the seeds can be grown into. So it's really like the basic for a family market style gardening. And like they go in depth on many things. I did not know that. No worries, Lynn. Congratulations, Lynn, on your milestone. Yes, French. It doesn't sound like it, but I'm French. My mother tongue is French. So I can follow courses in French and in English. I would have preferred the course to be in English because then I won't have to translate it like when I want to show or create content from what I've learned in English. But for me, it's either or. I can do all either or of the languages. I'm losing my voice. Sorry. You can do so much with dandelion. The whole plant is edible. Tea, juice, jellies, salads. I loved. Now we're out of it. I did syrup with the dandelion. I tasted the jelly, but I preferred the syrup. It was really good. Um, Annie will not have a front yard if she grows. No, I promised my husband I would not grow food in front of our house. Like everything has to be in the back of the house. Hello, Carlene. Happy New Year's. How are you? Aren't you due for an operation soon? Could I be wrong? So that's really what I'll be working on in the first weeks of January. I'll be planning. I'll be learning, sharing, filming, editing, posting, and answering questions. That's pretty much what my January has in line for me. And like, honestly, I have no idea how I'm going to make all of that happen, knowing that I have to take care of my house, my kids, they're back to school, the logistics around that. And then I don't know. I have no idea how I'm going to do it all, but all I know is I'm going to have to figure it out and soon. Lists. Yes, lists are good. I invested in a planner, a homestead oriented agenda planner this year. It was a bit of a investment, but I'm hoping that it's going to help me get organized. Okay, so it's not the day yet. I hope everything goes well. Yes, that is so true, Lynn. My list has lists. There's an ongoing list, and I have like this vision, like when we were young, we're like, we have 5 things to do, and when those 5 things need, like, we're done, we're like, dun. There was nothing left to be done. Now you cross off 2, 10 appears out of nowhere. It's like, where where they come from? So yeah, list has lists. Hello, Brampton Gardner. More list journals, organizing. When I started 5 years ago, like I was all over the place, but like I was journaling. So I took the idea from Whispering Willow Farm. What she was doing is she was writing every single seed that she was sowing, and the quantity, how old were the seeds, who was the seed company, and she was rating the overall like growing season of the seedling. And then she would write when she transplanted it, and like she was taking notes as the summer was going, and she noted the harvest. And at the end of the season, she sat down with every single seed that she sowed, and she said, okay, well, this one doesn't work here, this one I'm going to give it one more try. And by journaling, she came up with an amazing system. Well, now she's like on a bigger scale, like 5 times bigger than me, so she needs to get even more organized. But I enjoyed doing that from the start. Like, I had a semi organized thing going on, and at the end of the season, I made sure to sit down and say, okay, so my carrots, how do I feel that my carrots did? Did they do good? Did they do bad? If they did bad, do I know why? And if I know why, what can I do next year to improve? Or overall, I'm not doing this next year. So every single category, I sat down and I did this religiously every end of the season, and it prepares me for when I want to order seed, and it prepares me for when I sit down and create my new garden for the following year. I still forget. I still forget so many things. Don't worry. I don't think that will ever change for me. I swear, people break into our house and adds to. Yeah, it's you sleepwalking and like breaking a window and adding things to your list. I'm good if I get them. Labeling. Remy, this is you're probably going to be able to answer this. He keeps saying that he does not need to label his seedlings. I think this year he understood why you're supposed to label your seedlings, or color code them, or like have some sort of organization around your seedlings. There's years like last year I was not very good at journaling, but since I film, a lot of my videos, and I talk like overall, like during vlogs, I kind of go back and take notes. But there's good years and there's bad years and then there's average years. Let's just be easy on ourselves, learn from our mistakes, and then make next year better. Well, this year better. I think the same people. Yes, yes. Like it's me, my husband, and my 3 kids. So I would think that laundry wise, it would be 5 people. But sometimes I feel like there's a party that I did not get the invitation, and like I slept through the entire party, and then we have like a party of 20 in like laundry. And I wasn't even invited. Yes, you will label them this year. They called kids bucket list. Yes, they are kids. My daughter would change outfits like so many times during the day, and she would wear them like 5-10 minutes and then put them in the laundry basket. I'm with Brampton. I'm lucky if I even label stuff. I'm trying to get better, but I typically only label plants that I do for sale. I used to do that too. But since I have so many, well, now I'm going to have lesser varieties. Like for tomatoes, I'm no longer going to have like 40 varieties of tomato. I know this is going to sound weird, but I'm trying to train my brain that I do not need 30 slicers, 30 plant of slicers. There's so many tomato sandwich I can eat in one day. I can't just eat tomato sandwiches like morning, lunch, dinner, snacks. As like I do enjoy it, but like my body will need at one point other nutrients than bread and tomatoes. Yeah, I've had to go back to watch videos to figure. Yeah, well, it's kind of a voice journal, but I always try to have my garden journal, and like I'm trying to get better every year, but I'm still a work in progress. I still always end up with a few mysteries. True, true. There's times that I have tags on some of my seedlings, and like I up pot them and everything, and at one point I'm like, this is a mistake. Like the tomato's supposed to be X, but then the plant that's coming out is like totally something different. Like it's supposed to be a paste tomato, red, and it's yellow. So either there's cross pollination that happened and like it was like a human error, or I dropped a seed or anything. Sometimes it does happen. I have like funny surprises. Yeah, my kids do their own laundry. Good. Mine are too young for that. But I guess I didn't keep up with it well. During like we started our renovations like just before the school season ended, and the washer and dryer was not hooked up for about a couple of days, and the amount of laundry that piled up for 2 weeks was, well, almost 2 weeks, was it was ridiculous. um if you don't keep track of the variety, you'll never know. Yes. So this is why like I tag my stuff, like for example, Amish paste. Amish paste, I love the size of Amish paste tomatoes, but they're not giving me 10 pounds per plant. So I might change that variety. So this year I am giving Amish paste one last try to see if I can harvest. I think I'm going to have 10 plants or 12 plants of Amish paste, and I'm hoping to have 120 pounds just of Amish paste. So to see if they're worth the garden space, if I can get more tomatoes pound wise with another variety that's as big, I'm going to go with another variety. You should see my original garden journal. It's dirty. It's there's water stains. There's so many things on it, but it just means that you're using it. Um, so when I started, I went at uh, Almanac website and I checked my last frost date. And then I go to Johnny Seeds uh, sewing calendar, and then I write my last frost date. And then it gives me every single type of vegetable, almost every single type of vegetables, and what day to start them, like from one day to what day. So it gives me like a sort of a planting calendar. I have to fill in some of them are not available on Johnny Seeds. I also use what was the almanac calendar at one point, but I found that we were sowing tomatoes and peppers a little too early. I preferred using the Johnny Seed sowing calendar. It was more with the growing season I had here. And from there, I used a regular agenda and I would just enter all of these dates. So let's just say that last frost date was May 12th, and I could start sowing tomatoes 6 weeks prior to that. And on my Johnny Seeds calendar, I watch the date and it says the earliest I can plant or sow seeds of tomatoes is this date, and the latest that I can sow those seeds is this date. And then the earliest you can transplant it outside, it's this date. And then the latest time that you can transplant it is this date. And then it's that's where I would complete the calendar with the variety. I would say, okay, so I approximately think I'm gonna transplant all my tomatoes by June 5th, example. And then my Amish pace are 90 days. So I go in my normal calendar, and then in the week of the 90 days, all the varieties of the tomatoes in the 80 to 90 days, I would write them in that week, and I would say, this is the time that I expect to have first fruit from this. And then I did that for 60 days, 70 days, 80 days, 90 days. And then somewhere in that, I would allocate in my calendar, like every 2 weeks or every week at one point, remove the suckers, fertilize if need be, check if there's pest damage or blah, blah, blah. So I had my agenda just like I was in school. So I was planning, I was doing that for every single big crop that I had. So tomatoes, peppers, onions, in there was others, beets, beans, and stuff like that. So that's how I started, and like I'm tweaking it year after year after year so that I don't have like 5-6 books. So I have my agenda, I have my garden planner, garden journal, and I have like another one where I use up, it's like little squares, and it's my design of my garden. So I'm trying this year with this new planner to put all of that together. And I had loose papers with my canning inventory that I did during the year. So I kind of had papers all over the place. It worked, but I'm hoping that the planner I bought this year is going to be a little bit easier on myself to track everything. Not sure what you mean. You're getting both soon. My kid does too, but we all decided to do laundry today. I got my herb garden planted this week, but still need to plant my rosemary. Nice! We're still under snow. Oh, geez, Lynn, that would be me. It's why my phone has waterproof case. I'm always drenching everything because I never remember where I lay it. Drenching a phone! Age 12, my kids start to learn to do their own laundry. So I have 2 years with my daughter. I'm behind already, but I'm going out of town until the 21st, so can't start anything yet. Well, I can't start anything. I think the only can't start anything. Now that my husband is back to work and like the dust is no longer in the air, I want to do microgreens, 1 or 2 batches of microgreens, but I'm not starting anything like sewing wise before February. 10 because she's changed her clothes so that's a way to make her realize how much she's using up her clothes. I discovered Johnny last year. I was using Almanac before that, and I found that he was sowing seeds way too early. And then I did a free training on Fruition Seed Academy. They were opening up their website academy. Usually you had to pay for it, and it was free because of all the COVID and everything. So I had access to all the like the background training and all. And they're in New York, and their growing zone is, I think it's 4B or 5A. I can't remember. So their growing conditions are very similar. Their frost dates are very similar to mine. And she was sowing seeds for tomatoes on April 7th or April 2nd. And I started with Almanac. It says to sow them on March 17th. So that's like a full 2 weeks or almost 3 weeks later. And last year I wanted to make the trial. Like usually I'm so eager to sow seeds. So on March 17th, I'd sowed all my tomatoes. But then I had these tomato trees going outside. And like I had to go through the logistics of like cutting the stem, burying the head, or them dying because they burnt on my light, or like me losing them because they're way too leggy, or like making magic. But then they started producing later. So this is what I learned in that course. Even if you sow seeds earlier, you're going to transplant a seedling that's so stressed that it's going to have to heal first before it can start the countdown of like, let's just say 60 days before you have a fruit. So I tried last year. I sowed my first batch on April 2nd and my second batch on April a little bit later than that. And I did not transplant tomato trees. And they were so easy to manage. And I had tomatoes earlier this year. So my experiment worked. So that's why I am going to stick with the Johnny Seed sewing calendar, not the Almanac. Hello, Krubby the Beagle. Hello. Ooh, you're May 7th. I don't think mine changed. I doubt that mine changed. So last frost date. Let's see. No, I don't want that. So, what does it say? Still May 12th. So I have 134 days of growing season, but it's been 3 years that the last week of May, we come dangerously close to a freeze. So I always take that May 12 as guideline. I never transplant tomatoes before the end of June. A lot depends on how much room you have and can take care. Yeah, that's another thing. So the logistics, I practically grow, I would say 95% of my seedlings. So I need 3 Costco shelves, minimum 3 Costco shelves. Those are 48 inches wide and about 24 inches deep, and I use 3 of them. So I need that space. And I need lights. I need like grow lights. I can't use I don't have window seal. I don't have a heated greenhouse just yet. It would be fantastic if I was able last year to build my seedling greenhouse and just have everything sowed from February, March, stay inside. I would only need 1 and then transfer it slowly at the end of the month of March, maybe beginning of April. Heat it just a little bit. Keep the peppers and the tomatoes inside the house. And then once the greenhouse is 15 degrees, 20 degrees at night, heated wise, I would transfer everything at night. We're not there yet. So I need at least 3, and I used to do seed sale. I have no idea if I'm going to do a seedling sale this year. If I do a seedling sale, that's 4. I need 4. So that's a lot of light and a lot of headache. So if you have overgrown plants, that's a big headache that I no longer want to have. Being organized is always helpful. So by having that calendar in an agenda, if you don't have the funds to invest in a very expensive planner, create your own style. Just have an agenda that tells you, okay, so we are January 8th. Tomorrow is Monday. So the week of January 9th, what can be sown? What can I do? How much do I need? And by just doing that, you're going to be a little bit more organized and you're not going to be all over the place. But once you start, at the end of the year, you're going to realize there's certain things that you did that you won't enjoy. And there's things that you're going to say, oh my God, I really enjoy this. And I want to continue doing it this way, but I need to tweak it. 12 to do laundry. So I have 2 years. I don't have a desk. I don't have a side table. I don't have a desk. I don't have a side table. I have a kitchen table and I have a kitchen island. And everything happens there until I can have my office. We're building an office for me and my husband, but it's not there yet. Remy, I can't stay very long either, so don't feel bad. I was planning to leave around 7:10. I heard you ask about me labeling my plants, but but not sure if you explain why or not. I will let you explain that in next week's live. I'm ordering a new planner, journal, and calendar. Good. I hope you find your system. My system does not mean has to be yours. You can try it, flavor it, but make sure that you make it your own so that you can make this also a fun learning experience. Come back. Don't know if you are still here for long. Ginger! Hello, Tony. Last year I tried ginger. It sprouted, and then it did nothing. So I want to try again this year. I got peppers, eggplant, herbs, and flowers planted this weekend. Nice. So you're down south. Or it's an experience you're doing to grow inside, or you have a heated area. I have to say, I prefer smaller transplant. So I transplanted. Hello, Boreal. You changed your name again. It used to be Boreal Homestead. Hello, Danielle. I prefer smaller transplant. I transplanted 4 weeks old, 5 weeks old tomato plants. They were small, but as soon as I transplanted them with so I dig a hole and I put some rabbit manure in the bottom and I put my little transplant on top. They kicked off really fast compared to seedlings that were 7-8 weeks old. They were stunted a little bit, maybe a little bit root bound, and it took a little bit longer for them to pick up. But sometimes you have all the good intentions, but then, life happened. Last year I caught COVID in the middle of my growing season. Well, not in the middle. I mean, growing wise for my seedling, I lost all my eggplants, all my hibiscus, because like I couldn't take care of my plants. I didn't like I did the bare minimum, and there's nothing I could have done. So like last year I wasn't able to have roselle. So it happens. Use a scale model of stone edge to tell me when to plant. That's an interesting thing. I have to go. My washer's done. Have a great week. Where are you located? I'm in Canada, in the province of Quebec, but I'm like east of Quebec, close to Ontario. Nice. It lies about mine online. Are you talking about your last frost? Okay. 2 weeks after last frost tender. Well, the last expected frost date, if my memory is correct, is based on the last 50 years. So once you're ready to transplant your things, it's our responsibilities to check the weather forecast if there's any freeze within the next 2 weeks, so that we don't have like surprises. Last frost date June 2nd. June full moon is June 3rd. Oh, it's true. You plant with the moon. I'm hoping that in the training I'm doing, they're going to talk about the moon cycles. There's a lot of people that like only swears by the moon cycles to transplant or sow seeds. I started using soil blocks and I can cram so yes. I started soil blockers 2 years ago and I'm really starting to enjoy it. And if I decide to do a seed sale, I am looking at the option of doing soil blockers exclusively for my seed sale. I'm there. That's what I want to do, but I don't know how to give the seedling to the person. So I know that I can wrap it around brown paper, but it's going to be moist. So that means I have to have like a container of some sort to hand out the seedling. So if I do that this year, I'm going to go with the greener aspect. Texas, that explains a lot. Yeah, changed it a few months ago, only once. Well, it used to be Boreal Homesteading. Then it was Boreal Homestead. And now it's Boreal Living. Hello? I'm not sure how to... Is it oh? Je vais bien? I'm going to use the tops of my winter sowing containers as clutch. That's a good idea. I'm not sure I kept my winter sowing buckets. I enjoyed winter sowing really much, but because I got sick, once I came to transplant my seedlings, they were a little bit leggier than I wanted. So I'm gonna try once more to do winter sowing and see if I'm gonna continue doing it or not doing it. So I'm not sure. Like I'm not in love with it, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm uncertain. So I'm gonna try it again this year. You're lucky. Here in May, we can have 30 degrees Celsius in like during the day, and the next day it could be -1. So May is like a weird month. Oh, well, sometimes my memory is good. Sometimes my memory is not good. I like winter sowing for certain things like brassicas. Yes, brassicas I really enjoy because I suck. I will admit I suck at growing brassicas. So I did a bigger scale winter sowing. In my high tunnel, I sowed two 72 flats, cell trays of brassicas. And during the day, I was removing the like I was putting like a cloth over them, and then at night I would cover them. And I had beautiful brassicas because of that. So I am doing winter sowing, but in a greenhouse on like a bigger scale. Perennials, I in my trials with the winter sowing, it failed. I don't know if my seeds were old. Maybe they got too much water. I don't know. I wasn't able to have my lavender or echinacea. They didn't pop up. I don't know why. I remember you're higher up. You're colder than me. June 17th. Oh my god, June 17th. Oh. Yeah, it is. And her first frost, I think, is like September 10th or something like that. Courageous Zone 2 growing. It's true, it's right. It's Zone 2. I keep forgetting. Wood stove is filled for the night. I can go upstairs now. Well, sleep tight. And I'm going to wait. I'm going to stay about 5 more minutes. If you want to ask me any questions, I don't mind. But I do want to put my kids to bed like very early tonight so that they can have a good day at school tomorrow. Yeah, Zone 2. Yikes. Like I'm finding that it's cold here. So it's not cold here. Where she is, it's cold and there's a lot of snow. I would love to have a wood stove in our house. Maybe our next house will have a wood stove, but for now it's not happening. So if you want to ask questions, I'm going to leave 5 minutes. So I want to wish you Happy New Year again. And like I keep promising, as soon as I have the official email that I have been qualified, you will be the third person to know. So obviously my husband will know after and then I'm going to probably do a pop-up live or some sort of video to announce it. I have no idea when it will happen, but you will know. I want to wish you a fantastic week. And next week, I think it's next week, my live will be at a different time, which is Sunday, the 15th of January. I'm probably going to do my live around 7:38 because I want to, it's the 2023 homestead goals of me, but also of other homesteaders. So I think Remy from Rem's Family Farm will be joining me, Lynn from Bucket List Homestead. There's a couple of different homestead that wants to pop on. And 1 hour and a half is like not enough. So I want to do it a little bit later. So I'll set up the link to the live later on this week. And you're going to get like a pop-up saying what time it is. And if you want to share your goals for this year, you're more than welcome in the chat to share your goals. Same to you. To answer that question, Remy, I would have to stay here a bit like longer. So keep that question in mind. I will answer it either next week or somewhere. I know there's also Tracy that wants to join the live of next week. I know I'm forgetting people. There was a couple that wanted to pop on when I sent out the invite. But like to give you like one example of things that I want to do differently is I no longer want to go head on to do something without a plan. For example, I treat what I do as my job. Like my job is to feed my family with my farm, with my small scale farm. So preserving, growing, whatever. Also, like my job on the flip side is also YouTube, but like I treat this as my job. So I want to have a more organized overall plan. So I just don't go, oh, I'm just going to plant this here. I'm just going to plant this here. And then I'm going to remember that I planted that. I won't remember. I tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. And most of the time I don't remember, and then I neglect it, and then I don't get the final results that I wanted, and I get disappointed. But if I was organized, I would be much less disappointed, and I overall would have more food by being organized. So that's one of the things that I want to do differently. I want to have a plan, and I want to stick to it, because like I am growing food to feed my family. So I'm not really seeing any questions. I'm going to wait one more minute. So write down your goals, your 2023 goals, and come share it with us next week, because having goals will help you in your rough periods. When you have a bump on the road, people say, and why did you do it? Like, why did you start in the first place? And then remembering why or your goals will help you get through those hard times. Rabbit garden, yes! And in your hard times, it will help you get through it. That's what helps me on so many levels. It's okay to let go. It's okay to fail. It's okay to be brought down. It's okay. But learning from that will always made me stronger, and I've learned so much. Well, guys, I'm going to see you next week. I do plan on releasing at least one video this week, and my normal schedule is usually Tuesday and Thursday. I'm still analyzing if I'm going to stick to those days this year, or if I'm going to switch it up a little bit. So that's also something I want to think over. Thank you, Remy. Everyone, take care. Have a blessed week, and we'll chat on next Sunday. Take care. Bye.